You open your banking app on a Tuesday night. The balance is fine, not great, fine. You've been saving $500 a month for years. Same number, same automatic transfer, same quiet pride. And yet something gnaws at you. A friend just bought a second home. Another one retired his parents. You did the math, you worked the job, you stayed disciplined. So why does it feel like you're falling behind by standing still? Here's the part nobody told you. That same $500 a month behaves like two completely different animals, depending on when you start. The gap between them is not small. It is generational. A man who begins at 30 and one who begins at 40 are not in the same race. They are not even on the same track. They are running through different physics. Compound growth is not a slogan. It is a clock, and the clock punishes hesitation more than it punishes ignorance. Let me show you the brutal math of your 30s, slowly, the way a friend would, not to shame you, to wake you up while there is still time. Start at 30, $500 a month, a reasonable long-term market return assumption. By 65, you are sitting around $1.6 million, roughly. Start at 40, same $500 a month, same return, same discipline. By 65, you have closer to $400,000, maybe less. That is not a small difference. That is a $1.2 million gap, sometimes 1.4 depending on the assumptions you run. And here's what stings. The 40-year-old did not save less per month. He worked just as hard. He stayed just as disciplined. He simply started a decade late. That decade was not lost income. It was lost gravity. The first 10 years of compounding do almost nothing visible, and that is exactly why people quit them. The trap is not laziness. The trap is invisibility. Your 30s feel like a holding pattern, and that perception is the most expensive lie your brain will ever tell you. You look at your account at 33 and see $15,000. You assume it is barely moving. You are wrong. It is loading. Every dollar you put in during your 30s has 30-plus years to multiply. Every dollar you put in during your 50s has barely 10. The math is not cruel. The math is just honest. Most men in your bracket misread this completely. They think the big money years come later, when income peaks. They postpone serious saving for the high-earning chapter. That sounds logical. It is also financially devastating. Because money in your 40s cannot do what money in your 30s can do. Time is the multiplier, not income. Here is the part that haunts late starters at 48. They finally have the cash flow. They finally have the focus. And they realize they cannot buy back the years. You can buy a car. You can buy a house. You can buy a watch. You cannot buy 1995 or 2005 or the version of this decade you are inside of right now. Now I can hear the objection forming in your head. You are thinking, but I have debt. I have a mortgage. I have kids. I have student loans. I cannot just dump money into the market. That objection is fair. It is also where most men get permanently stuck, because the goal is not to choose between debt and investing. The goal is to keep the compounding clock running, even quietly. Even $200 a month started now beats $800 a month started in 8 years. Not by a little, by a lot, by 6 figures in many scenarios. This is the part nobody puts on a billboard. Consistency at 32 beats intensity at 42. Boring beats brilliant when the variable is time. And yet, your brain is wired against this. Your brain treats far future money as someone else's problem. Neuroscientists have a name for it. They call your 65-year-old self a stranger. You would not skip a mortgage payment for a stranger, but you will skip a retirement contribution for one every month without flinching. That is the real villain of your 30s. Let me decode this trap one more layer. Lifestyle inflation is not the enemy you think it is. The enemy is invisible delay. A small raise comes in. You absorb it into rent, into dining, into a slightly nicer car. Nothing feels reckless. Nothing feels wrong. And that is exactly the danger. Every dollar of raise that gets absorbed instead of invested is a dollar that will not have 30 years to grow. You did not lose the dollar. You lost its grandchildren. Here is the healthy version, just so you can see the contrast. The healthy version is not extreme. It is not austerity. It is not austerity. It is not skipping your life. The healthy version says, when income rises, half of the raise goes to lifestyle, half goes to future you. You still feel the win, you just share it with the man you will become. The trap version says, I'll start saving more next year when things settle down. Things never settle down. There is always a new next year reason. That is how a decade disappears. Now let me pause for a second, because I want to ask you something honestly. Where are you right now financially in this decade? Are you in your early 30s, just starting to think about this seriously? Are you closer to 40, doing the math for the first time and feeling a quiet panic? If you are willing, drop it in the comments. A sentence, an age, a feeling, where you are, where you wish you were. Because somebody else is reading this exact paragraph right now, feeling exactly what you are feeling, and your honesty might be the thing that gives them permission to start. Now let me come back to the math, because there is a deeper layer here that almost nobody talks about. It is not just when you start, it is what you protect. Most men in their 30s focus on returns, the right fund, the right account, the right strategy. That is the wrong obsession at this stage. The real lever in your 30s is not return, it is contribution rate. Returns are mostly out of your control. Your monthly contribution is entirely in your control. A man saving 15% of his income consistently will beat a man saving 5% with a better strategy almost every single time. Strategy is a multiplier. Contribution is the base. And here is the advanced nuance most people miss. The first $100,000 is the hardest. After that, momentum changes the entire game. Below $100,000, your savings do most of the work. Your contributions matter more than your returns. The portfolio grows because you push it. Above $100,000, the math flips. Market growth starts contributing more than your monthly deposits. The portfolio grows because it grows. You become a passenger on your own wealth. That flip point is the most important threshold in your financial life, and the entire purpose of your 30s is to get there as fast as possible. Once you cross it, the rest of your life looks different. You are no longer pushing a boulder. You are riding one. That is what compounding feels like when it finally turns on. But there is one more thing I need you to understand. The men who reach that threshold are almost never the highest earners. They are the most consistent ones. I have seen people earning $200,000 a year with $30,000 saved at 40, and I have seen people earning $70,000 a year with $200,000 saved at 38. Income is a tool. Habit is the craftsman. Your 30s are not a holding pattern. They are the foundation pour. Concrete that looks the same on day 1 and day 300 is silently becoming permanent. And then one day, somewhere in your 40s, you look at your accounts and realize the foundation held. The numbers got serious. The math stopped being theoretical. That is the moment most late starters wish they could rewind to. The quiet, unsexy years when nothing seemed to be happening. Those were the years that did everything. So if you are in those years right now, I need you to hear this clearly. The boredom you feel watching your account is not stagnation. It is the sound of compounding warming up. Do not interrupt it. Do not pause it. Do not reset it because a friend bought something flashy. The men who win at 60 are the ones who refuse to flinch at 35. There is a version of you, 25 years from now, sitting at a kitchen table looking at his statements. He is either grateful or he is calculating regret. Only one of those men has options. The choice between them is not made at 60. It is being made this month. In the transfer you set up or the one you keep postponing. In the raise you absorb or the raise you redirect. If this video helped you see your 30s differently, do me a small favor. Hit the like button. It tells the algorithm to put this in front of another man who needs to hear it tonight. If you are new here, subscribe and turn on the bell. This channel is built around the quiet, uncomfortable money truths most people avoid, the ones that change lives when you finally hear them out loud. And in the comments, tell me which part of this hit hardest. The 1.4 million gap, the 100,000 threshold, the stranger version of yourself you keep underfunding? Your comment is not just for me. It is for the man scrolling past at 1 a.m., wondering if it is too late for him. Your honesty might be his green light. Thank you for sitting with this. Thank you for doing the inner work that money actually requires. The math is brutal, but the awareness you just built is the first thing that bends it back in your favor. In the next video, we are going deeper. We are looking at what happens to men who hit 50 with less than 200,000 saved and the 3 quiet moves that can still rewrite their last 15 years. Because brutal math has a twin nobody talks about, brutal grace, and it is closer than you think.